sharing durian ASEAN.
Hi and welcome to Duran ASEAN. You're back with me, Gowri, here on our ABC show. And it's a beautiful Wednesday morning. A lot of interesting things happened today. If I can just take you guys back into the past for a bit. So on July 8 in 1579, Our Lady of Kazan, who is the holy icon of the Russian Orthodox Church, was discovered underground in Kazan, which is the present-day Tatarstan in Russia. And in 1709, the Great Northern War, Peter I of Russia defeated Charles of Sweden in Polava, effectively ending Sweden's role as a major power in Europe. And moving on to 1889, the first issue of the Wall Street Journal, the world's most circulated business daily newspaper, was published for the first time. And apart from that, in 1994, upon the death of Kim Il-sung, Kim Jong-il became the supreme leader of North Korea. And also something else that happened earlier today was, of course, Brazil versus Germany, which was one of the most anticipated matches in the World Cup. And a lot of people stayed up to watch it. Obviously, a lot of restaurants ran for a longer time than they usually do. And it was definitely a match worth staying up for. And it didn't work out too well for Brazil, unfortunately, being the host. There will be no party for them this year. Germany, however, they won 7-1. Well, it was nearly 7-0, but it turned out to be 7-1 with against Brazil. And of course, Thomas Muller scored the opening goal at the 11th minute, and then it was just they were on a roll, scoring 4 goals in the span of just 6 minutes. And up until the first half, the second half, of course, a second goal by Andre Schürrle, and he scored both the goals in the second half. And at the 90th minute, Oscar came to the rescue and scored Brazil's first goal for the night and saved the day. And so, of course, the end result is Brazil 1 and Germany 7. So it looks like Germany will be heading to the finals now, and either facing Argentina or Netherlands, depending on who wins the next match. So moving on to our ASEAN news for this morning, I have some fresh news for you as usual, and we will start with Bangkok, where the Thai junta says peace is restive in South, a national priority. So Thailand's military government said on Monday that peace in the Muslim-dominated South was an urgent national priority for the Buddhist majority country following a decade of unrest blamed on separatists. The message comes a week after the start of the Muslim holy fasting month of Ramadan, and days after the new government led by General Prayuth Chan-ocha said it would revive talks aimed at bringing peace to provinces of Patani, Yala, and Narawat. The South is an urgent national priority. Prayuth wants firmer measures and more success in the South. He's the Secretary General of the ruling National Council for Peace and Order told reporters ahead a visit to the region. Prayuth also said that the government wanted to use political strategies over military tactics in the south. So this is a very, I would say, a populist movement by a move, sorry, by the Thai junta, but it's also probably a good thing for them to come up with this this statement that says that national peace is of course a priority in the country, and there's something that everyone is focusing on now that now that it's the month of fasting, and of course they want to stop all their roles, all their give compromise on all their misunderstandings, forgive each other, and try to head for a better start. Another thing that's also been going on for a long time is, of course, the Indonesian presidential elections. And we know that the two final candidates are Jokowi and Prabowo, and the elections are actually today, taking place this morning in Jakarta. And later on, we'll be speaking to somebody from Indonesia to just find out what's happening over there, and how things are going, how people are reacting, and of course also to find out the end results. So this elections is actually probably one of the most anticipated elections in the region, and a lot of people have been talking about it and debating about it. And we even had an analysis here in Durian ASEAN last week regarding the Indonesian elections. And it seems that Jokowi is he seems to be everybody's favorite, but at the same time, Prabowo also has an edge coming from a military background, and he's seen as the stronger, the more capable leader, whereas Jokowi is seen as the more the calmer one, the one who is probably the people one that people can relate better to, because he's more of a normal person, and he started out small, and he worked on his business, and he became successful, although there are speculations saying that there's no way he could have been so successful if he didn't do any dirty tricks or play any dirty work. But whatever it is, he has a very friendly approach, even in his campaigning. He's one of those who actually goes down and meet the people, and talk to them personally, and tell them that, we can do this together, and believe in yourself, as opposed to Prabowo, who is more of a probably like more of a dictatorial leader, where he says, trust me and I can bring change to the country. And which is why Jokowi is also seen as the Obama of this region, and especially in Indonesia, because he is seen as the person who can bring the change, the much needed change. As we all know, Indonesians, majority of them are really, really poor, and they have a huge economic problem going on. And whoever wins this election and takes over the country will be in charge of definitely trying to turn over the economic policies of the country, and trying to, of course, raise the uh, raise the level of economy in the country, and also create more job opportunities for people, and to encourage more foreign investments in Indonesia. And so yeah, we'll have to see who wins this one. And according to this news here, it says that Indonesia's benchmark stocks gauge rose to a one-year high on speculation. Market favorite Joko Widodo will win today's presidential election. So it seems that just with the speculation that Jokowi is going to win, uh, the stocks are already rising, and even foreign investors are starting to have more faith in the Indonesian economy to come in and invest, because they are a lot more with Jokowi's way of approaching things, as opposed to Prabowo, who has a more tough and intimidating a facade. So moving on to Singapore now. Of course, it's about the CPF, and it seems that the Deputy Prime Minister Tharman Shanmugaratnam today reiterated that the CPF members' investments are guaranteed regardless of the returns on investments made by GIC, the government's investment arm. He also clarified that Temasek Holdings does not manage any CPF monies. CPF members bear no investment risk at all in their CPF balances. Their monies are safe, and the returns have been promised are guaranteed, he said in a parliament In response to questions from members of the parliament, neither does the CPF board bear any risk, regardless of whether GIC's investments earn or lose money in any particular year. The risk is wholly borne by the government on its own balance sheet. Mr. Tharman also said that the CPF board invests CPF members' monies in special Singapore government securities issued specially by the government to the board, and the payout from these SSGS is packed into the interest rates that the board is committed to pay its members. And apart from that, the government also guarantees that the SSGS bonds so that the CPF board faces no risk of being unable to meet its obligations to its members. This is a solid guarantee from a AAA credit rated government. And the AAA credit rating reflects Singapore's very strong financial position, with the government's assets comfortably exceeding its liabilities. Mr. Taman, who is also a Minister of Finance. So this is another issue that's been happening in Singapore about the CPF, where people don't feel safe about their money, and it seems that the government is trying to get them to work beyond their retirement age, which is I think 55 years old. And of course, a lot of people are not happy about that because they want to retire when they want to retire. They don't want to keep pushing themselves because they're old, and it's time for them to get some rest. And it seems that the government is providing some answers. I don't know if it's a satisfying one, but they are saying that the CPF balances are safe with the government, and the Singaporeans have nothing to worry about. And I think that this is, of course, a very worrying issue because when retirement is a very complicated thing to even decide when do you want to retire. It can be a difficult decision to make, especially when you have kids in school, still in college, and it's probably tempting to keep on working, but at the same time, when you trust the government with your money, you expect it to be safe, and you expect to get the returns that you've been promised. So let's hope that it works out well for the Singaporeans. So moving on to the news about typhoon, where it turns towards Japan, prompting calls to evacuate. So hundreds of flights were cancelled in Japan, and more than 500,000 people were urged to evacuate as a powerful typhoon brought torrential rain and high winds to southwestern islands and was forecast to reach Tokyo later this week. And typhoon, as it's called now, Gowri, weakened from its original status as a super typhoon but remained intense with a gust of more than 250 kilometers per hour. And it was powering towards Okinawa Island, chain where emergency rain and high seas warning were in effect. The storm will be at its most powerful as it passes Okinawa, some 1,600 kilometers southwest of Tokyo on Tuesday. But the Japan Meteorological Agency warned of heavy rains and potential flooding in Kyushu, the westernmost of Japan's main islands, as well as heavy rains in the rest of the nation as the storms turn east. People must take utmost caution, KG Furuya, state minister in charge of disaster management, said in a news conference. So it seems that the government is trying to get the people to take precautions, but as we all know, or at least Japan has a reputation for being pretty efficient when it comes to disaster management. So I think the people have nothing to worry about. Those who have to actually worry, the beggars in Malaysia. If you don't already know, of course, our minister came up with this new policy where they will actually fine you if you are caught giving alms to beggars on the road. And there's been, of course, a lot of backlash to this statement made by a minister. and Dato Adnan, and it seems that a lot of people are definitely not happy because this is not solving any problem by just finding people for giving alms to the beggars. There's a lot of other issues that needs to be addressed along with this problem, as to look at the bigger picture in the first place. Why are there even beggars in the country? It goes back to the rising cost of living, especially in Kuala Lumpur. It goes back to affordable housing. How many people are able to actually afford a house these days? And I think at the rate that it's going, most people have to probably just resort to just renting, and it's going to be impossible for a Malaysian to own a house in Malaysia. And it also goes back to creating job opportunities for these people. What can they do? If I remember correctly, back in Indonesia, they were actually the beggars were actually paid when they were collecting rubbish, and then they can also they were also eligible for free treatment if they bring this rubbish to a particular clinic, and that's a different story altogether. And we are not addressing our problem here by just finding people who give alms to beggars and saying that that beggars are not allowed to operate anymore. Is definitely not addressing the problem. And it seems that soup kitchens with their own premises will be allowed to operate in the city regardless of the deadline to cease operations within a 2 km radius of Lot 10 in Bukit Bintang. So it appears that soup kitchen will stay open until after Raya at least. And Federal Territories Ministry Secretary General Dato Adnan Muhammad Iksan said that the ministry is actually concerned with ad hoc soup kitchens due to hygienic reasons. So he also said that we are worried that many homeless people will refuse to budge as they know that people will come to them with food, and we want the soup kitchens to have a fixed place. He told reporters after chairing a meeting with 12 NGOs operating soup kitchens this morning. And on why Lot 10 was the focal point of the 2 km radius, Adnan said that the location was right at the heart of Kuala Lumpur and also a tourist hub. So I think he's probably worried about the kind of image we're setting for our tourists, of course, and how we are how we will be eventually perceived internationally. And at the same time, I think she also said that it's unfair to blame the homeless and hardcore people for dirtying the city. And we have seen how pedestrians and road users dump rubbish indiscriminately in the city, and I think that's a very good point. There's a lot of other things that are also that is damaging the reputation of the country, and it's not just the homeless people. And I think if they really want to do something about it, they probably have to look into everything. The problem, the littering problem, the snatch thief problem, which is very, very rife in Malaysia, and tourists everywhere in KL are afraid now because the news is everywhere about snatch thieves, and a lot of tourists have been robbed in the past as well. Their handbags being snatched, their jewelry being snatched. So maybe they should look into all this as well, and not just focus on the beggars and blame the beggars for tarnishing the reputation of the country. So another news here, moving on to Brunei, where AirAsia flight skids off the runway. An AirAsia flight from Malaysia veered off the runway upon landing at the Brunei International Airport yesterday, disrupting air traffic for 12 hours that led to the diversion of some inbound flights to Kota Kinabalu, Sabah. But however, all 109 people aboard were safe. AirAsia said in a statement that it was investigating what caused the flight AK-278 from Kuala Lumpur to Bandar Seri Begawan to come off the runway. And Communications Minister yang berhormat Pehin Orang Kaya Hamzah Pahlawan Datuk Seri Setia Haji Abdullah, he said due to the incident, the runway has been closed for the next 12 hours, and hopefully the Royal Brunei Engineering will attempt to relocate the aircraft and carry out its investigation. Looking at the scope of work, it is possible that all will be completed by Monday night. The minister said that out of the 109 passengers and crew, only one passenger sustained minor injuries and was safely taken to the hospital. So moving on to the Philippines now, where Nepal's wants church custody. CBCP says no. So Janet Lim has asked Catholic Church hierarchy in the Philippines to take her under protective custody. And however, the Catholic Bishops' Conference of the Philippines have rejected her proposal, citing legal and financial impediments. And with regard to her request for us to take her under protective custody, we face obstacles from both church and state laws, said Lingayen Dagupan, Archbishop, in a statement on Tuesday. And he also said that the church laws do not allow an episcopal conference to stand as guarantor before civil courts, that the accused will not abscond and will be available at every trial date. The CBCP president visited Nepolis when she was still confined at the hospital Ang Makati in April upon the request of the plundered respondent's kin. This time, however, the bishop refused the request, saying assuming responsibility over Nepolis would establish a precedent for all other accused in the pork barrel scam. And he also concluded saying, once we allow CBCP's office to recognize Miss Nepolis, we must, to be fair, accept similar requests from all others that are accused. And not only would this strain their resources, it would render impossible the discharge of its principal functions. So I think that's all the time that we have for today. I hope you learned a thing or two from our news. And before I sign off, don't forget to like us on our Facebook page, Durian ASEAN. Also follow us on Twitter and also subscribe to our YouTube channel. We upload our podcast every day along with a 3-minute video of our guests speaking about our topics. And coming up, we have an interesting discussion from a beer ambassador from JAB talking about do you actually know your beer? So whether you think you know it or you don't, you can listen to the interview in a bit at about 8:35, and I'm signing off now.